Speech, by far, is the most natural form of communication. It's actually 3 times faster than anything else. In 1/3 of the time, you're actually capturing 3x amount of data.
Today's guest is Amir Haramaty, a self-described serial problem solver with 4 successful exits under his belt and a track record of transforming AI innovation into real-world impact. Currently the co-founder and president of aiOla, Amir's work is reshaping how enterprises harness speech AI for efficiency and data-driven insights, serving everyone from Fortune 500 companies to global chains. In this episode, Amir shares his unconventional approach to entrepreneurship, why he believes failure is a crucial ingredient to success, and he reveals the behind-the-scenes stories of building aiOla from the ground up, long before AI was a household name. You'll hear how he helped companies slash hours off regulatory processes, turn speech into data goldmines, and how timing, technology, and relentless iteration combined into a perfect storm to take aiOla globally. Get ready for a masterclass in AI, leadership pivots, and the future of voice-driven business transformation. As always, if you found value from his content, please like and subscribe. All right, Amir Haramaty, welcome to Beyond Fulfillment.
Thank you, Dave. It's great to be here.
Yes, it's great to have you. We appreciate you taking the time. So Amir, we were just talking about your background here, but before your present company, and you said you don't like the term entrepreneur, you're a serial problem solver, and you've had 4 successful exits already. So we'll definitely touch on that as well. But you are the president and the co-founder of aiOla, which is a speech AI company that's making some serious waves out here in the market. Can you just tell us what aiOla is and who you serve?
Absolutely. So yes, as you mentioned, I call myself a serial problem solver, and this is something which I enjoy. And as you mentioned, this is my 6th rodeo. It's not my first one. 4 were successfully sold to significant companies. Been deep into AI for the last decade, long before A and I became the most used and abused letters in the English language at the present time. The first 6 with my previous company as the AI platform of choice of McKinsey, the management consulting company globally, where I had a chance with McKinsey to be at a large number of engagements with Fortune 1000 companies, where I saw where the big promise of AI is meeting traditional enterprises, and it's not a pretty sight. I had many takeaways. The 3 main ones is the understanding that what happened in AI in recent years is incredible. Those AI tools are amazing, but I think we get a bit confused because despite the fact those are AI, they're still just tools, which means and polarize the fact that the biggest challenge is no longer an AI challenge, it's truly a data challenge, because the majority of data in the world is still not part of the game because it's uncaptured and unstructured. So one is understanding it's all about data, number one. Number 2, my mother always told me, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Try to keep the proportion. I'm still working on it. But it's an amazing life lesson is what you're able to hear if you're willing to listen. And the reason I'm mentioning that is whatever we do, we come with tremendous respect to existing processes or procedures or workflows in companies. We're not here to disrupt. We're here to enhance and augment. We build this incredible technology. How can we assist to do things more efficient, safer, smarter, collaborative? The last pillar and the most important one is the fact that what you and I have been doing here for the last few minutes, speech, by far, is the most natural form of communication. It's actually 3 times faster than anything else. In 1/3 of the time, you're actually capturing 3x amount of data.
Feeling lost in the noise of social media? Inspo cuts through the clutter, connecting you directly with real insights from real experts and industry leaders. It's a new social network dedicated to knowledge sharing, industry insights, and thought leadership. Get the latest from top minds in your field, or build your own thought leadership portfolio on Inspo. Already trusted by thousands of professionals worldwide, be part of the conversation and download Inspo Experts today on the App Store or visit www.inspo.expert.
And one day, God willing, your grandkids are going to find a keyboard in your garage, Dave, and say, hey, Grandpa Dave, what is this? And you're going to struggle to explain to them that that was our most creative way to communicate with machines by punching buttons, okay? It's as ridiculous as it sounds. So it's super clear. It's all about data. It's super clear. It's all about speech. But it's also super clear that what we have today is pretty challenging. The combination of languages, accents, various acoustic environments, and again, in supply chains and logistics is a very big challenge. And the fourth one, actually, we realize that every industry, in every company, in every location has a very specific jargon or slang or keywords that, in all fairness, there's no automatic speech recognition platform off the shelf that was built to handle it. Hence, it's a triple challenge. One, how can we bump the accuracy in those settings from where it is today, which is subpar and unacceptable, close to 100% in any language, any accent, any acoustic environment, any jargon. Two, once you did it, still not good enough because you want to separate the noise from the signal. You know, it's less interesting, although I care about it, what the Lions are going to do this season, or what's going to be the weather like in Detroit in 2 months' time. How can we extract only the relevant information, separate the noise from the signal automatically and take it out? And once we accomplish that, it's still not good enough because we're not talking about speech to text. We're talking about speech as highly unstructured data to highly structured data. So speech to data, speech to schema, speech to workflow. And that was the triple challenge that I took, or the problem to solve when we founded aiOla.
Okay. All right. So you founded this company 5.5 years ago. So that would have been what, late 2019?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And so that was long before AI was a household name, like it is today. So what was when you had this idea and you realized that the speech and the data and that there was this big opportunity, and given where AI was at that time, I mean, how did you go about getting started?
It's incredible because one of the challenges is when you do things slightly ahead of time. So first, when we start talking, and I'm dealing with AI again since 2015, but when talking about the importance of speech and why speech back in 2019, 2020, 2021, still people looking at it like almost like ain't broken, don't fix it. So I had to find some tangible, I know it sounds cheesy, but the three letters I love the most in the English language is R, O, and I. So everything, if you can do things which are measurable, are quantifiable, that can show value. And I'll give you an example. One of our very first clients was a meat producing company, one of the largest meat producers in the world. And turns out that every day when they start the day, they have to complete a regulatory mandatory process. It's called pre-op. Pre-op inspection is 20 pages. They have to inspect every piece of machinery before they start the day. It takes them on average 2 hours. Production is out on those 2 hours. And I said, what if we're going to take that entire process and turn it to speech-based, hands-free, paperless? They're going to walk and talk, and information will be filled automatically. We were able to take it from 2 hours that took manually to 46 minutes. So first, for this razor-thin margin industry to be able to provide an hour plus of free production per shift or per day, it's very dramatic and quantifiable. Second, the biggest impact beyond efficiency is the fact that now we created data that previously was just going to the filing cabinet. Now that becomes raw material to the AI tools, you can connect the dots beyond what the human eye can see or human brain can process, and you can constantly get evergreen, ever-learning insights and intelligence. So all of a sudden, I can feel like, okay, we're starting to get people to understand, because it doesn't matter how small or how big you are, you still have to do more with less. You still have to work on efficiency. You still need to be safer. You want to be smarter. You want, again, multinational, to be able to speak a single language, even though you speak so many different languages. And I followed, I call it the pain trail. I identify where the pain is, and I was able to show them, not far from you, north of the border, there's a big supermarket chain, a $19 billion supermarket chain. And French Canadian, by the way, is a very challenging language. They have to do a simple process. They have to check the temperature of the meat inside the refrigerator. And it's highly regulatory, mandatory, Ministry of Health. On the first 600 stores alone, we saved them more than 110,000 of hours that went directly to EBITDA. So all of a sudden, people realize it's not just cool technology, it's absolutely a necessity of something that allows you to stay in a game, number one, and show tangible results. If I'm working with one of the largest package delivery companies in the world, and they got more than 100,000 vehicles in the US. And every vehicle needs to be inspected every morning, and they have a 40-point checklist that on average takes between 15 to 20 minutes. And now speech-based, hands-free, paperless, the walk and talk, and the forms are being filled in 48 seconds. So I saved them more than 14 to 19 minutes per vehicle per day times 100,000, which is incredible. But then because we connected the dots, they know how the tires behave in Miami, Florida versus how they behave in Toronto, Canada. And that's very different, and that's impact procurement, and that's impact service, and so on and so on. So all of a sudden, we start to realize we identified those critical parts. Then, great example, not far from you, we met with United Airlines. United Airlines is the largest airline in the world, 1,047 aircrafts. And they realized that the biggest asset they have is not the largest fleet of airplanes, but rather the data that fly to the system that currently is uncaptured and unstructured. So we started from baggage handling. So if you lose your bag, to fill the form in speech and retrieve it by speech, to safety and compliance that now becomes a culture thing. Everybody in United becomes now a safety ambassador. And now we're going across the board to the point that United would like to have any data entry, of course, everything to be done by speech. So we have done it with and the largest airline in the world, and then we work with one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in maintenance. And processes that took previously 900 minutes are now completed in 400 minutes. But not only that, in each flow, they were able to capture in the 900 minutes 4.3 words per description. Now in 400 minutes, they're capturing 12.5 words per description. So we shortened the time for less than half, close to 1/3, and we tripled the amount of data. Now they can open up tickets on a fly from the floor. And then we're talking to one of the largest rental car companies. Try to imagine you return your vehicle right now, and the entire return process is by speech. Any language, any accent, any acoustic environment, that information is flying. And from the automotive industry to the aviation industry to the pharmaceutical to manufacturing to supply chain to logistics, everywhere where data is critical, the ability to capture the speech. And now we cross the chasm because now I'm getting companies that realize speech is the way to go. I don't need to educate the market. So it's incredible if you think about the journey. Is first of all to convince people why to do it. Second, to overcome and invest in the technology, and then get to this place where finally the aha moment, and now we got there. We got to that point that now I'm hitting 1,000. Okay, every time we swing the bat right now, doesn't matter which company I'm talking to, it's an immediate use case that grows to dozens of use cases to truly transformational change within the organization. And I'll tell you something, because you mentioned that, it's my sixth startup. 4 were exceptionally successful, sold. I never experienced in my own benchmarks such an incredible transformational experience because it's bigger than a given company. It's a lot of different things happen at the same time. The maturity of AI, the connectivity around us, the mindset of the people, and the need for speed or need for efficiency, and the ability to connect them with a simple solution that I can deploy on any Android or iOS device, regardless of what is the maturity, digital transformation maturity of the specific customers. Anyone can benefit from that tomorrow morning.
Okay. So you've had this company 5.5 years. What was the process like developing this technology and kind of refining it to where it is today? Like you said, you're batting 1,000 and you're working with these major, Fortune 500 companies and incredible use cases and that sort of thing. I mean, what was the journey like developing the tech to this point where it is now?
So several things. It's a great question, by the way, which has rarely been asked, but it's a nice journey for me, even in my mind right now, to reflect backward. Because while I had this vision, I'm not a speech expert. And I was searching for the best speech experts I can find in the world to get some stamp of approval. And I found one of them, which happened to be at the time leading the Alexa research for Amazon. And after a short period of time, he said, Amir, you're onto something really big here. You haven't offered me a thing, but I already accepted. If you want me, I'll drop Amazon in a heartbeat and join you as a chief scientist, and he did. So first, we built a world-class research team. It's an all-star team of researchers. Second, and without going too technical, but the big LLM guys today are using constantly brute force to boil the ocean, if you will, and then to try to narrow down to your specific use case. And I say, why the hell I need to boil the ocean in order to make coffee? All I need is that much water. And we came with a complete different approach. We came with a unique approach that basically said we identify 4 key components. One, we need to overcome the jargon. Nobody ever pay attention to jargon. Second, we need to be able to separate the noise from the signal. Third, we need to deal with any acoustic environment. And fourth, we need to turn the speech, not to text, but speech to data. And we went deep and doubled down on IP. And we're able to do something which nobody did before. So I don't need to train models. Let's, for argument's sake, right now you're a big warehouse in Korea, okay? And it's a language we don't speak. And there's a specific form they have to fill over there. All I need from them is that one specific form in Korean that we don't speak. I don't need data to train it. All I need is a list of keywords. We build a proprietary and patent platform. It's called jargon-aware, that in several hours, going to take this information. It's called zero shot, meaning there's no training required. In few hours, we're going to build a small language model for that specific process in Korean, in that warehouse, in those settings, in that acoustic environment, with those jargon and accent, very close to 100% accuracy that you can deploy it on any Android or iOS device, number one. And number two, we realize we never play alone. We need to play nice. So whatever backend system you have, if it's an ERP, if it's a Oracle or SAP or CRM like Salesforce or whatever, we have a simple API that we can integrate the information and feed it wherever you need. That's a big pivot, which we did about 2.5 years ago. So from just developing this incredible technology and amazing speech to data skills to go after pre-existing processes and just take one process at a time and transform it. Once we hit that, so one was to understand we're going to do something completely different. We built a lot of IP. We have multiple patents about this specific technology. We secure this highly defendable 4 areas that nobody can do better than us. And that put us in a position today that we're outperforming companies that invested hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in research because we took care of the critical path. And now we package it per industry, per language, per acoustic environment. So that's an amazing journey. We learned a lot of things, and you can see the point almost where the pivot took place about 2 years ago. Great, we have great technology, but now we found the best way to apply it to where it makes the biggest impact. And for me, it's amazing. You know, I was in London yesterday with one of the largest airport operators in the world. They got it. 300 airports, they got it. Dozens and dozens of use cases. Last week, I was in one of the stock exchanges. They got it. They want to use all the orders on the floor, tickets by speech. 3 days previously, I was the C-level executive again of rental car companies and on. So it doesn't matter which vertical. And I enjoy walking in those meetings because I'm never going to learn what I already forgot about the business. But once we demonstrate the art of the possible, you can almost hear the wheels turning in their heads with immediate use cases where we steer them to where we can make the biggest impact at the shortest period of time with minimum obstacle possible. And one thing I learned, success breeds success. And once you achieve it quickly, then you're golden.
Okay. All right. So sounds like it took several years before you really hit your stride. And 2 years ago, I mean, that's around the time too that AI really started to, burst on the scene. Was that a part of just the, I mean, almost like a perfect storm in terms of you just got the technology right and then everyone started to realize what AI was?
I think that's the 2 words. That's the perfect description, the perfect storm. Because sometimes some things are up to us, some things are not up to us. But it seems like everything happened just at the right time. The technology matured to the level that I can take it to the next level. I know how to apply it. I don't need months to handle clients. I don't need weeks. I don't need days. I can do it in hours. So now I can do it at scale. I prove and validate it, and the awareness around it. I made a self-made, not funny joke to illustrate to my team the opportunity in front of us. And I say, no, we have a French chef, French ingredients, and French kitchen. We must do better than a French toast or French fries. So that perfect storm put us in a great position. Like, we're not here for the plain vanilla. Not disrespect to plain vanilla, it's great. But yes, it's a combination of our own maturity, but even more so, the global maturity around AI, the acceptance across organization, and everything is moving so fast. You and I have been around enough to recognize there are a lot of things that happen, okay, from the internet to connectivity to smartphones. nothing moves so fast as this revolution. It's bigger than any other revolution we face in the past, from the agriculture to the industrial to this one, and this is bigger by far. So timing, but being at the right spot at the right time with the right technology, yes, that's a perfect storm.
Okay. All right. And then how is your role evolved too? Because it sounds like you're kind of, you're like the president, you're a co-founder. Sounds like you're tasked with really bringing on new business and dealing with all these companies and doing the presentations and whatnot. Is that what your day-to-day looks like a lot?
So it's a great observation because I took the role as a co-founder to be the CEO for the longest time. So basically, all those years of building the teams and building the product and validating and dealing with all the day-to-day operation 24/7, I was doing that to the point that about a year ago, we realized, okay, we got halfway to the promised land. But one of when I'm bumping to clients sometimes, and you try to pitch the technology or whatever, and you get the sense like they're very happy where they are, they don't want to move forward. I ask them, can I write something on the wall? And I say, sure. And I write, Dave, WBYH, WBYT. And it says, that's in Hebrew? I say, no, that's what brought you here will not bring you there. And the same applied for aiOla. And by the way, this is a great experience that only when you're a seasoned serial entrepreneur problem solver, to recognize you cannot apply the same game plan across the board, across stages. You need to be able to adjust on the fly. We talked football before we started this recording. The best coaches in the NFL are the one that can make the adjustments on the fly. Okay, you had your game plan, but things change. Somebody got injured. The other team is doing other stuff. The ability to adjust on the fly. So we realized we have a huge opportunity. We got to a great position, but for me to continue to run the day-to-day operations, from no disrespect to any of this, to HR, to procurement, to IT, is taking very valuable time from what I do best. So I brought a very strong COO that's capable to run the operation. My co-founder joined full-time to the company so he can take the CEO, and I can be 100% of my time under the title of co-founder and president, but I'm 100% of my time responsible right now for strategy, for business development, fundraising that you never stop raising. You saw the announcement probably about aiOla a few weeks ago. We just did another $25 million round. On the round, we wanted to fund 15, ended up with 25, and now we're even expanding it. So that's what I'm doing now, building those strategic partnership alliances, the overall strategy, and that's what I enjoy the most. And I think understanding where we're at and make the adjustment on the fly to equip ourselves to the next phase was a very important step that we took about a year ago.
Okay. Appreciate you, detailing that.
No, and actually, nobody ever asked me the question. It's the first time I'm opening the kimono and explaining everything that happened behind the scenes. So you have something that nobody heard before.
Yeah. Well, especially being a co-founder of a startup, and it sounds like that there's rapid growth. I mean, sometimes too, right? That's there's never, it's like there's never enough hours in the day when you're dealing with the team, and then you're always thinking about sales and growth, and then you're fundraising, right? So yeah, that sounds like a great move for you guys, where you brought in help to deal with the day-to-day, and you can really focus on your zone of genius with scaling the
Absolutely.
company.
And I'll tell you one other thing, which is very, very important. Everybody likes to talk about success. And don't get me wrong, I'm very proud to talk about it. I believe my failures were way more important to my success than the success stories. Okay. And sometimes I found myself dealing with a client, and a client gets super excited about the technology. And I found myself like, say, hold on a second. I'm very proud of our technology, and I'm confident in our ability to generate value. But I can guarantee you failure first. I say, what? I said, I guarantee you failure first. And that failure is so critical for success, especially if you fail quick, fail hard, you know what not to do. And that allows you to be able to make the adjustment on the fly. I'll give you a very fresh example. We're dealing right now with a very large German client. And we build a language model for that specific process in German. And we are very proud of that model. But when they deploy it, the performance was horrible, Dave. What turns out is the actual users were immigrants from Turkey who speaks Turk German. It's a version highly accented with Turkish accent. No model off the shelf was ever built to deal with that. The beauty of what we do is we have the ability on the fly to record that and automatically build a language model, not for German, but a language model for Turks, German in those settings, etc., etc. So we had to fail first in order to make the adjustment specifically to the setting here with this accent here, with the background noise here, etc., etc. So in order to do so, it's never a laboratory test. It's always battlefield test. Okay. In battlefield, you get dirty, you get scratched, you get injured, you're learning, you're tired, you're sweaty. But as long as you know what you're doing and you know how to guide it, and this is, by the way, once you develop that confidence that whatever comes your way, you will handle it. Because one thing I always assure to our partners and clients, nobody can be as more committed or dedicated than we are, and we have the best brains in the world. We'll get things done. There's no question about it. But sometimes in order to get things done, we need to make some failed attempts so we can fine tune it. What's the best way to do it? And that's a very important part of a startup journey, especially when you're moving from early stage to growth stage.
Yeah, and like you said too, as you've kind of like listed off successes and how the company's grown throughout this interview, talking about the failure and that being even more important. I'm sure that's something other entrepreneurs listening can certainly resonate with because failure is it's a necessary part of success.
It's a critical part of success, in my opinion. Yes, it's a necessity. But if you fail to learn from your failure, shame on you. Okay, you don't want to eat this empty calorie. If you have to suffer that pain, you better learn the lesson to make sure not even get close to that pain that you felt.
Very true. Okay. All right. And so with as far as you've come in these last 5 years and where the company is positioned now, I mean, what's next for aiOla?
It's incredible because I think the game just started. I'll give you a fresh example. So we built this tremendous partnership because I believe this is moving so fast. It's not just about us. So we partner with Accenture. Accenture is 900,000 people that realize that aiOla can bring a very key component to what they do. We partner with USD Global. Then we partner with NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, today is not only the wealthiest or the richest company in the world, $4 trillion, but it's really the gold standard. And Jensen, the CEO, is a rock star. And they have their own event. It's called GTC, which is Woodstock, okay? To people who still understand what Woodstock was. But a few weeks ago, NVIDIA's GTC took place in Paris. And unprovoked, on his keynote speech, Jensen spoke about aiOla. And now the GPUs of NVIDIA is empowering aiOla to transform the biggest players in the world. So we're getting tremendous recognition. And those partnerships allow us to get reach and distribution to get scale. And so now we can do multiple things. For example, we can take, like I mentioned before, any specific process or workflow, and with aiOla application, just deploy this use case, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, about the Korean warehouse, for example. That's great. Then I got a great piece of advice from the CTO of SAP, who told me, Amir, this is amazing, but why do you build an API? So any existing application you can apply to, so the data entry can be done by that. And in a few weeks' time, we got it. And then we fully integrated to Salesforce, for example. And one of the largest consumer companies right now, 5,000 salespeople using that. Just finished a meeting with Dave. I walk into the car. I'm talking about the weather. I'm talking about the practice this afternoon. I'm talking about the NFL coming up in 2 weeks. And then I'm talking about the deal. By the time you log into Salesforce, the relevant information and only relevant information is already sitting there. But it doesn't stop there because everybody today talks about agentic or AI agents. And Jensen claims that AI agents are going to be a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, and they're absolutely right. But guess what, Dave? Even AI agents need to be prompt. And speech is still the most natural form of communication. And you're going to stumble to the same fundamental challenges we already solved. So now we're taking care of existing processes through the application. We can attach it to any existing application through an API, and we are fully primed right now to support any agentic environment. So aiOla took care of the past, present, and the big future in front of us. So I think, again, it's such an exciting journey. And we put ourselves right now on the biggest stage, and we got tremendous exposure. And between NVIDIA and United, Yeah. And then Fast Company selected aiOla as one of the 50th most innovative companies in the world. All three things happened like in a 4-week span in the summer. The exposure is incredible. Fundraising changed completely. The exposure to different industries and replication. So to those partnership and alliances, I definitely believe that we earned the right to eventually become a multi-billion dollar company.
Wow. Okay. All right. And Amir, if people listening to this, they want to reach out and learn more about what aiOla does, how they can potentially uh, use the service or reach out to you for any other reason, what's the best way people can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So one again, aiOla website is very, very informative, and it's aiola.ai. That's it. And you see there, and there's a lot of, we release research papers, and we talk about the challenges we encounter. And again, I'm always accessible and happy to talk to people and happy to assist. And it's very simple. It's amir@aiola.com. That's it. And you'll find me.
Okay. All right. And we'll link all that in the show notes for everyone. All right.
Perfect.
Well, Amir, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and sharing all this valuable wisdom from your journey with our listeners. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for the time. I enjoyed the conversation very much and would love to talk again soon.